Hey everyone, and welcome to the last installment of my personal finance for recent graduates. And we will focus on setting a budget after graduation. To start, I'm just going to review the past 4 topics that I talked about in the other videos I made. We went into investing, saving for retirement, credit score, and student loans. Just kind of try to keep these in mind and what you learned from those as we move forward with setting a budget. Before I get into the rest of the budget presentation, I'm just going to talk quickly on what a fixed expense is versus what a variable expense is. So a fixed expense is costs that largely remain constant, such as your monthly rent or your mortgage, whereas variable expenses are costs that vary or can be unpredictable, such as a car repair or a medical bill. Now that we know the difference between a fixed and variable expense, the first step of the budget is to track your income and expenses for a month. So just keep track of everything that you spend money on for whatever amount of time and put your expenses under each related category to your best ability to try and see how many fixed expenses you have and how many variable expenses we may be able to kind of cut out or not include in the budget. When making a budget, it's also important to know about the 50-30-20 rule. This is kind of just what your monthly expenses should be going to and what categories those are. So 50% of your budget should be spent on essentials such as rent, food, insurance, other things like that. 30% of the budget should be for fun. You still want to be using your money for things that you enjoy so you don't get trapped in this cycle of spending money on things out of your control. So this 30% could go towards traveling, dining out, shopping, or anything else. And then the next 20% of your budget should be going to savings. And this would be towards an emergency fund or in some kind of investment account. After you've tracked your expenses for a month and you understand the 50-30-20 rule, it's necessary to fill out any costs that are unnecessary. So if your spending does not match up with the 50-30-20 rule, you can try to find some costs that could be avoided, like that extra Starbucks, eating out when you could have made something at home, or going on a trip that was a little bit too expensive for your budget. After you've tried to cut out some of these extra expenses, I'm going to have you try to set a comfortable budget. You need to find a budget that feels attainable and that you're able to stick to. You can readjust it if you're needed, and try to set some goals for yourself to keep yourself motivated and focused on your budget. If you're having any trouble tracking all these expenses and figuring out what categories need more or less, it can be helpful to find an outline online. There are so many options available for each different person and how their mind kind of works with organizing all of this stuff and all the information that should go on there. And I highly stress finding a good outline because it makes it a lot easier to stick to a budget. And that concludes my 5-part series on personal finance for recent graduates. Please leave any questions in the comments and have a great day. Thank you.